is sewage and it is being now. What are the problems if the sewage water is not treated? Without treating the sewage water, if it is sent into nearby rivers or lakes, what kind of problems do we face? That also we have seen. Yes, okay. Then next, coming to the steps involved in the sewage water treatment. Okay, so there are three stages. Actually, four stages are there. Okay, first one is the preliminary process. Second one is the settling process. Like in some textbooks, you can see screening or the preliminary process, and second one is the primary treatment, secondary treatment, and tertiary treatment. Okay, that could be the type of classification what you can see in some textbooks. Okay, so anything you can just mm, yeah, anything can be fine. Okay. So first one is the preliminary process. Now preliminary process, I can just write it here as screening. Okay, I'm just so this case will be called the screening process. So screening of sewage water. Okay, screening is the first step for the basic treatment. What is the main purpose of screening? If you remember, we have come across this kind of treatment in the municipal water treatment, right? The potable water or drinking water for its treatment, the municipalities, even the screening was the first step there. Okay, so what were the impurities which could be separated by the screening process? You remember or not?
Stones.
Yeah, dried leaf, bark, okay, dried bark or flowers, fruit, seeds. So all those impurities will be retained behind the screens and it will allow only the water to pass through the screens because you have holes through which only the water will be allowed to flow to the other side. Okay, you have the retention of all the impurities. Now similarly here also you are going to make use of the mesh screens or bar screens. Okay, this will also have the hole and which helps in retention of the impurities like solids, inorganic matter, gravel, silt, solids, coarse solids. All these would be retained by the screens and thus allows only the water through the screens to the other side. So that's the basic step or the preliminary process this is also called as screening. Now, second step is settling process. Sometimes you can see this as a primary treatment also in some textbooks. Okay, so let me mention here. What is done in this? Right. Here, in this process, you just remember about the sedimentation process, the green method, what you have come across in the case of municipal water treatment. So, sedimentation means what? Sedimentation means what?
Making the water to stand still for a long time.
Very good. So you just allow the water to stand still for hours together, or it might be sometimes days, depending upon the impurities present in it. Okay. Now, if it takes more time the settling down these bigger size particles, you just allow the water to stand for days or even sometimes even for weeks. Okay. So here also you have such kind of feasibility where you can just allow the sewage water to stand for hours together. So that is done in the case of sedimentation process. So you just take the water will be stored in the sedimentation tanks and where the impurities like inorganic or organic solids of bigger size or you can also call them as a coarse particles. Coarser means bigger size particles. Now these will get settled down by the gravity. By the action of gravity, they simply get settled down. Okay. And also here you can go for another treatment that is the addition of alum, which is called as the chemical treatment. Okay, here chemical treatment is done prior to sedimentation. So prior to sedimentation, you are adding chemicals. So what is the function of these chemicals? Alum and aluminium hydroxide. ferrous sulfate. What is the purpose of adding these chemicals to the water? This we have already come across. That's why I'm asking you people.
To make impurities to settle, ma'am.
Which impurities? Which impurities? So those impurities which could not be settled by the sedimentation process can be settled down, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Those impurities, which are those impurities? You remember we have discussed something about the fine suspended particles, right? Fine suspended and coarse. So coarse particles, those which get settled down to the sedimentation process, whereas fine suspended particles cannot be cannot be settled down. Yes, you remember this point, fine suspended particles. So those particles have to be trapped by the alum. Okay, trapped by the alum, that is aluminium ions which are present in the alum or the ferrous sulfate, okay, or aluminium hydroxide. So these will introduce Al3 plus ions. You remember for this also I've shown a diagram for how the fine suspended particles are brought together with the introduction of alum. All the fine suspended particles will be carrying same charge, that is a negative charge. Because of similar charges, all the particles cannot come closer. So when you add alum or the aluminum hydroxide, this will introduce aluminium ion, Al3 plus ion. So this is a positively charged ion. So this will try to bring all the negatively charged particles together, and that fine suspended particles will be converted into bigger floccule. Okay, so all these can be trapped with the help of the alum. That is the main purpose of adding the chemicals to the uh, water for the sedimentation process to be completed. Understood? You remember what I have told you? Explain.
Yes, ma'am.
The next third step is the biological treatment process, or you can also come across activated sludge process. Activated sludge. So there are actually, we can just call this as the secondary treatment. That's a naming system. Secondary treatment. Secondary treatment. Okay. This can be either biological treatment process or it can also be called as the activated sludge process. Activated. So there are two ways by which you can bring about this secondary treatment. One is called as the biological treatment, the other one is called as the activated sludge process. Now, in biological treatment, how it is carried out and how it is done in the activated sludge process. So I'll just share the screen here. Okay. So for the biological treatment, you require a filter called as a trickling filter. So this is your trickling filter. Can you see this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So this will be under setup. Okay, so this is your ground level. Only the rotating arms of this filter will be seen on the above the ground. Okay, and the below set and the remaining part of this setup will be below the ground. Okay, and here you can see these are the rotating arms. Okay, now with the help of rotating arms, the sewage will be distributed. So here, this part, this is called as the filter bed. Okay, this entire thing. Can you see this? The cursor where I'm showing. This entire thing is called as a filter bed. And what does this filter bed contain? Filter bed contain the pores aggregates, sand particles, okay, and also glass particles. So this is actually filled with the different layers of the sand and coal that you have the aerobic bacteria here. Okay, so what is the purpose of using the aerobic bacteria in the filter bed? So the main purpose is create the environment for the aerobic conditions. Now, in case if the aerobic conditions are maintained, then all the oxidation of the impurities brings about the formation of less toxic compounds. So you have two types of oxidation. Now this oxidation has to be brought about by the bacteria. So if you remember, you might have studied in your school level in the science, aerobic and anaerobic bacteria. So aerobic bacteria are those which grows or which will be present in the aerobic conditions, that is in the presence of air. Okay, and anaerobic bacteria, these will exist in the absence of air. Okay, when you don't have air present in the medium, then you have the anaerobic bacteria existing in that medium. Okay, now here why we are preferring the aerobic conditions? Now here the aerobic conditions are preferred because with the oxidation of the impurities, like suppose if you see in this reaction, so when the oxidation conditions or the aerobic conditions are maintained, you can see the carbon of the organic matter will be converted to carbon dioxide and nitrogen to ammonia and finally nitrates to nitrates and nitrites. So in this reaction you can make out. So these products, what you can see on the right side are harmless products. Harmless products. So that is the main purpose of this trickling process, or which is also called as biological treatment. And why it is called as biological treatment? Because here we are using the aerobic bacteria for maintaining the aerobic conditions. That is why this is called as the biological treatment, because the aerial oxidation is brought about in the presence of bacteria. Now these filters, they are actually 2 meters deep and they can be either circular, how you have seen in the picture. Okay, so this is a circular trick, or it can be a rectangular in shape. Now these are filled. I was actually talking about the filter bed, right? So this is the filter bed, and here you can see the filter bed is containing grated clinkers, broken bricks, coal, or crushed rock. And at the bottom of this bed, okay, you have the underdrain system which is provided to collect the effluent. So this is your underdrain system where you have the collection of the effluent. It is collected out. This is the outlet for collection of the effluent. So after treatment, so here, um, okay, here you can see. So these are the rotating arms. Now, if I just want you people to imagine this, I can just compare this setup with the one what you see in the gardens. Can you remember the gardens like where the water is being sprinkled throughout, like it keeps on moving? At
Yes,
least
ma'am.
something you recollected, girls. Yeah, likewise here also, like we need not to keep on supplying, like we need not to keep on watering the garden in different directions. Like if you like sprinklers will take that entire job. Okay, likewise here also you have the rotating arms which keeps on moving, and here you have the sewage distribution arm. Okay, so this is a sewage distribution part. Okay, like where you have uh, so this is yeah, uh, this kind of representation is for the water which is moving through these rotating arms, and that will be slowly getting percolated through this filter bed. So this will not be a fast process. So this has to be done at a slow pace. So where the water is slowly getting percolated through this entire filter bed, and once the aerobic oxidation is done, you have the water which is free from all the impurities, because all those what we have seen in the previous equations, carbon present in the organic matter, it is getting converted to carbon dioxide. That is a gaseous form. Nitrogen to ammonia. Okay. And then you have the further conversion to nitrites and nitrates. Okay. and then you have ammonia getting converted to nitric acid and nitrous acid. Okay, so and the water which is free from all these will be collected through this outlet. So that is the effluent outlet. So this entire thing is the under drainage system. Okay. The material sludge process. So while you are describing the secondary treatment, okay, this is secondary treatment. So first you have to talk about like either way. Either you can write about the biological treatment process first or activated sludge. Anything is fine, but you have to mention both the methods girls here. Okay. Now coming to the activated sludge process. This like here also you have a setup that is missing here. 1 second, I'll just share another note. It's not sharing, Amma. Anything we shared? Girls, is anything shared?
No, ma'am.
Yes,
Now
yes,
it is
ma'am.
shared.
Now we can see, ma'am.
The old one only is coming. Okay. I'll just, because it's not, I'm unable to share through my mobile because it's there in my mobile and my network is so slow that I could not even send the same thing to my mail also. I've sent it in the beginning. Till now, I could not receive it.
Okay.
So just I'll explain this and I'll then share the diagram. Now here in the activated sludge process, now what is a sludge? Sludge is something which contains the organic content and also numerous bacteria within it. Now, why this process is called the activated sludge process? Can anybody tell about this? Why the sludge called as activated sludge? The simple English activate something you can relate to that. Activated sludge. We are not calling this as a sludge process, but it is called as activated sludge. Anybody? Something which is active is called as activated, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me, girls? Yeah. How the sludge is becoming active. Now here, the main purpose of this treatment is once again the oxidation process. So no doubt here also you have to make sure the oxidation process should be done in the activated sludge process because aeration helps in conversion of all the organic content, carbon, nitrogen, and other things what you have seen in the biological treatment. The same reaction holds good even here also. But here by using the activated sludge, you can carry out this method. Therefore, it is called as activated sludge. Now, here, how the oxidation process is done. Now, oxidation process, it is actually like it is very slow because here also you have bacteria associated with this method. So the oxidation process is slower. So increase the to increase oxidation process. So to increase the speed of this process, so a sludge is being drawn from the previous batch of the treatment process. So therefore, that is called as the activated sludge. So the sludge which is drawn from the previous batch for the treatment process, so that is actually will be containing lot of sludge impurities within it, and that enhances the process. Okay, so that is why it is called as the activated sludge process. Now this mixture, the mixture means the sewage water which has to be treated, that has to be sent into aeration tank, like where you already have the activated sludge kept in the tank. Along with that, the mixture is aerated and it is allowed for agitation for 4 to 6 hours. So this is the time duration for the process to be completed. Now towards the end of this, you can see the complete oxidation of the organic content and those reactions what we have discussed earlier. Now this uh, treated sludge or the treated sewage water, it is now sent to the sedimentation tank. Now when it is sent to the sedimentation tank, what is the main purpose of this? It allows only the sludge or the solid deposits to be settled down, and it will become now free from all the bacteria because already bacteria is withdrawn in the previous step, and only the process will be like after the at the end of this process you have only the sewage water which is free from the sludge and also from bacteria. So that is how the activated sludge process is done. Any doubts here? What is the difference between the trickling filter biological treatment and activated sludge process? What is the difference between the biological treatment and the activated sludge process? Can you hear me, girls?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, what is the difference? What is process and biological water treatment? Where do you find the difference? Where do you find the difference? Is it not so?
Ma'am, your voice is not clear, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Your voice is breaking.
My question is, what is the difference between the activated sludge and the biological treatment? Now you understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. Tell me now. Now answer my question. Nobody has understood what I said till now, what I've explained till now.
Sedimented, yes.
In biological treatment, how that process is different from activated sludge? What happens in the biological treatment?
Chemical oxidation takes place. Ma'am.
Chemical oxidation. In biological treatment, you have the in biological treatment, you take the anaerobic bacteria, okay, and the trickling filters, right? There, the filter bed, you have the aerobic bacteria present in it, and that brings about the oxidation. Whereas in the case of activated sludge process, so you are trying to use the sludge obtained in the previous batch for the treatment. So that is actually containing chemicals within it. Okay. And you have a part of the sludge which is already treated. So therefore that makes the process a little bit faster. So that is why it is called as the activated sludge process. Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm sharing the notes. I just able to I could get it. Yeah, this one. I hope it's shared, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So here this is the inlet for the sludge. This into the aeration tank. Okay, and here you have the supply of the compressed air. Okay, so you are trying to create the aerobic conditions here. Okay, and this will take around 4 to 6 hours for the process to be completed, and then entire sewage which is treated in this aeration tank then allowed to pass to the sedimentation tank or settling tank. Okay, here in this, what can you see? Here you can see the sludge which gets deposited here. Okay, and the clear aggregate will be collected through this outlet, and this sludge, what is sedimented here, that will be a, like a part of this sludge will be mixed with the sludge what is used for the treatment for the next batch in the ration tank. Okay, that's how this is called as the activated sludge. Okay, now coming to the last step, that is the tertiary treatment. So secondary treatment can be done either by the biological treatment using the trickling filters or by using the activated sludge process. And coming to the tertiary treatment, here you can see still you will be you can see, you are surprised to see that there could be phosphates which could be left treated by the previous treatments. So here we are trying to remove even those uh, organic content which could not be eliminated by the previous steps. Now here if you have phosphates in the sewage content, then that can be removed by adding lime. So when you add lime, the phosphates gets converted to calcium phosphates. Okay, this can be easily removed because this is a precipitate. Then next, then fine suspended particles, if they are present, those can be removed once again by adding alum, ferrous sulfate, okay, or sodium metaaluminate. Then third one is filtration process. So again you allow the water to pass through the various sand filters, and this helps in the removal of the suspended matter. Then fourth step is the degasification. So the dissolved gases present in the sewage water can be removed by allowing the water to pass through the tall towers which are filled with a number of perforated hot plates. So this method, this degasification helps in the removal of toxic gases like carbon dioxide, ammonia and H2S, because these are the ones which actually causes the obnoxious odor to the sewage. Okay, so this is the degasification process where you can allow the sewage water to pass through the tall towers which are actually equipped with the perforated hot plates. So this is done for the degasification purpose. And finally, you are left over with the disinfection treatment. So disinfection is the last stage of the tertiary treatment where you are trying to eliminate the pathogenic bacteria or the microorganisms which are dreadful in nature, or those are the ones which are causing the diseases. These can be removed by passing through the chlorine gas or through the ozone, through the water, through the sewage water for the treatment of the sewage. Okay, so in the tertiary treatment you have different kinds of steps. Okay, like for the removal of phosphates you are adding lime. Then for the removal of fine suspended particles, you are adding chemicals like alum, ferrous sulfate. For the filtration, you just again allow the water to pass through the filter bed where you can remove the traces of suspended matter. And for the degasification process, you allow the water to pass through hot perforated. And finally, the disinfection process where you treat the sewage with the chlorine gas or the ozone gas for the removal of the dreadful bacteria. Understood, girls, what I told you?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is the kind of chart, okay, what you can represent for the sewage water. Screening, sedimentation, and after then you have sedimentation is a primary treatment. Then you have secondary treatment. Here you have two ways, so therefore it's shown as a trickling filters and activated sludge process, and then again sedimentation. So here from here you have the tertiary treatment steps. So again sedimentation, chlorination, treated, discharge. So this is what about the unit 4. Shall we discuss from some previous question papers then? Is anybody having previous question papers? Arshia, are you there, ma? Is Arshia there? Another audible girl. Am I audible, girls?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm.
Yeah. Do you have any previous questions with you? No, no. Say yes, sir. No.
No, ma'am.
I'll just see if I have. I'll share it. Okay, I'm sharing. Wait. Do one. Have solved any problems related to heart or related to the experiment I have discussed? Have solved the numericals?
On EDTA method, ma'am.
IT also hardness. Find any difficulty in solving those
Yes, ma'am. Second one.
from the notes that I have shared?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll discuss. Okay. Which problem you just tell me? I'm sharing the
Second one,
PPT.
ma'am.
Yeah, I'm just opening the PPT. This one.
Yes, ma'am.
I have to share the I'm just trying to get the PPT where exactly it is there. Or can you share it, ma, otherwise? I'm sharing now. We'll see whether. Okay, fine. Second problem, a standard hard water contains 15 grams of calcium carbonate per liter. 20 ml of this required 25 ml of EDTA. 100 ml of sample required. The sample water after boiling. Okay. What you could not understand from this, ma? So first step
Ma'am, they
is
didn't
what?
give V3, no, ma'am.
V3, yeah. M1, V1, M2, V2. Okay, so how to calculate M2? How to calculate M2? You require M1, right? Okay,
Yes.
a standard hard water contains 15 grams of calcium carbonate per liter. So per liter, 15 grams. So 15 by 100 into 1000 by 1000. So 15 by 100, how much do you get? This is grams. So you have to convert into milligrams, right? You're converting into milligrams or you're directly taking in grams only? How did you solve the first problem? Are you converting into grams or milligrams or not?
First problem we didn't
Okay,
come.
suppose you did not do the first problem.
No, ma'am, we didn't convert, no, ma'am, in first problem.
Okay, so 15 by 100 you will substitute. So that will be 0.15. 0.15 is what? That is the molarity of standard hard water M1, right? So here you are getting how much you are getting M1? M1 as 0.15. Okay. What is the continuation of this question? You have 20 ml of this required, 25 ml of EDTA solution. So now substitute M2 V2 equal to M1 V1. We want M2. What is V? What is V2? So 20 into M2, okay, equal to M1. How much? 0.15 into V1. So 20 ml of this required. So 20 ml of this calcium carbonate solution or the standard hard water you prepared, that required 25. So calculate 0.15 into V1 is 20. So M2 will be equal to 0.15 into 20 by 25. How much do you get here? Following us or you want to
0.120.
0.110. Shall we check with the others? How about others, girls? How about others? Doing it or just listening? So M1 is how much? So M1 is
0.15.
0.15 and we want to calculate M2. So M2 V2 equal to M1 V1. Is this shared, ma?
Yes, ma'am.
So we want to calculate M. So M2 equal to M1 is 0.15 into V1. How much is this V1? V1 is 20. V1 is 20 divided by V2. How much is V2?
20.
25, right? 25. So this on simplification 0.12. Yes, ma? 0.12 is the answer, right?
Yes, ma'am.
This is M2. Now how to calculate M3? M3 V3 equal to M2 V2. What is asked here? 100 ml sample required 18 ml EDTA. Okay, the sample water after boiling required 12 ml EDTA solution. So after boiling it required 12, but before boiling it required 18 ml. How much for 100 ml it required 18 ml. So I should find out the total hardness, right? So M3 into how much is this V3? How much is the V3?
100.
100. Okay. How much is V2? V2 is
80.
18 ml. So this is 100. So on simplification, how much do you get? M3 equal to? How much do you get now?
0.022, ma'am.
0.22. Now, so when you multiply this with 10 power 5, you get total hardness, right? So total hardness,
2000.
yeah, 2200. Total hardness is equal to this into M3 into 10 power 5. So this comes out to be 2200 units. What are its units?
ppm.
ppm. Now this is total. Okay, we have not yet completed the problem. Okay, still we have to calculate M4, right? M4 equal to, what is this M4? M4 is nothing but permanent hardness, right? So M2V2 by V4. So what is done in the fourth step? In the fourth step, the water is boiled, okay, filtered, and you can see here in the problem it's mentioned 12 ml EDTA is required. The sample water after boiling required 12 ml of EDTA solution. But V4 is not given, so we just have to assume V4 as 100 ml only. Okay, V4 M4 equal to how much? How much is 0.12, and how much is V2? V2 is
12.
12 ml. By nothing is mentioned, so we'll just consider as 100 only. Okay, so what is this? How much you are getting? 1440, right? 1440 ppm. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. 1440. Will you get 1440 or maybe in point something you will be getting? Okay, I have already converted
0.01.
into 10 power. Yeah, 0.0.
1440 only, ma'am.
Yeah, that's what. But I'm directly writing in the ppm because this value you have to multiply with 10 power 5. Then you will get permanent hardness. So this is permanent hardness. So what is asked to find out? Temporary hardness. Now, how do you get temporary hardness? Difference
Total
of these
hardness
two.
minus
Yeah, total minus permanent. Total minus permanent.
760.
So finally, temporary, I'm writing on the top. I don't have space here. So temporary hardness equal to how much you're getting?
760, ma'am.
Okay. So 760 ppm. I hope everybody know how to calculate the temporary hardness. This is simply total minus permanent. Minus permanent. Now it's clear, girls. Now you have understood how to solve this.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm sharing photos. Okay, I got the whole question papers. Here you can see here, describe the reverse softening of hard water. Okay, is it shared now? This is actually JNT question paper. Okay, and can you hear me, girls?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Then the second part, the 6B question, is actually pertaining to lime soda process. Okay, we don't have it, so don't worry. And then seventh A bit, explain the disinfection of water by chlorination and ozonization. Okay, so in the chlorination ozonization, you have to bring about the various chlorinating agents. Okay, how many you have? 3 chlorinating agents: chlorine, chloramine, and bleaching powder. Okay, you have to give the reactions, chemical equations along with the breakpoint chlorination. Is it clear? Along with the breakpoint chlorination, you have to explain the disinfection by chlorination. The next you have ozonization. Yeah, and another important thing is in the chlorination, you have to even talk about the chlorinator, okay, how it functions. And coming to the ozonization process, how the ozone is produced and how the ozonizer is used for the disinfection purpose. Okay, that part you have to explain. So then next, what is the principle involved in the estimation of hardness of water by EDTA method? So this direct question. So you have to draw the structure of EDTA, explain about the EDTA and the complete principle involved in the estimation of EDTA, estimation of hardness by EDTA method. It's not rotating. Okay, here you can see one partake question from your unit 4. Sample of groundwater has 150 milligrams per liter of magnesium plus 2 ions. Calculate the hardness expressed in milli equivalents per liter. It's given milli equipments, it's wrong. Milli equivalents per liter. Yeah. Who will solve this problem? How to solve this? What is the formula for this? Hardness is given and you are asked to express in milli equivalents per liter. Yes. Who will do it? Can you hear me, girls?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so how to solve this? All this not seen properly. These papers are not yet downloaded. Yeah. How to solve this? Who will do it? Tomorrow's class? For tomorrow's class, you'll be ready with the answer. Copy down this problem. Sample of groundwater has 150 milligrams per liter of Mg2 plus. Calculate the hardness in milli equivalents per liter. Okay. Say yes or no.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we'll